Hey everyone, welcome back to the Snowcast. A little bit of an impromptu video here, but a topic came up today that I really wanted to talk about. So there was an article released today by the GiantsWire.com, which is a news website for the New York Giants, about Patrick Graham reportedly bolting to the Las Vegas Raiders. For anyone who doesn't know, Patrick Graham is now the ex-defensive coordinator of the New York Giants. And we didn't talk about him in the last episode, but he is one of the few bright spots in the recent history of the New York Giants, in my opinion. Patrick Graham came over with Joe Judge from the Miami Dolphins to become our defensive coordinator. And in 2020, he really got the most out of our defense that was struggling with talent and injuries. And then in 2021, it started off rough, but unlike most of the Giants' groups like offense and special teams, the defense actually made adjustments and actually played decently well to not very well for the current circumstances at the end of 2021. So this article that came out actually goes into detail on why Patrick Graham left the Giants, and as quick as he did. He didn't really leave with a statement. He didn't leave with any sort of thank you statement or anything like that. Not that he had to, but Patrick Graham was, like I said, one of the bright spots of the Giants. So let's dig into the article. Let's see. We'll do it this way. We'll pull this over here. And then we will take this and we will enlarge it. Okay. So taking a look, going through the article, I'm just going to highlight it, guys. I'll leave a link here in the chat for you so you can check it out as well. But it said Graham had worked with Dable in the past and is well-respected throughout the Giants organization. They both worked together at the Patriots. Rather than staying, Graham took off to Las Vegas, joining Josh McDaniels, and he did so silently. As it turns out, there were specific reasons for that. So Dan Dunnigan of The Athletic reported one of the reasons he left was the dismissal of Joe Judge, who I guess was a very good friend of Patrick Graham. Still are, they're very close friends. I guess Patrick Graham was not happy about the way Joe Judge was let go so quickly. I guess there were reports that when Joe Judge was hired, there would be more patience. And so Joe Judge was only our coach for 2 years, and then he was fired. So Patrick Graham was not happy with that. And rightfully so. Patrick Graham and Joe Judge are friends. His friend gets fired. I can understand why Graham was upset about that. That wasn't the only thing that didn't sit well with Graham, though. He was also bothered by the Brian Flores lawsuit. So for anyone who doesn't know, Brian Flores is suing the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Broncos for racist practices when hiring head coaches. It's a touchy subject to talk about for sure. I think for me, I understand where Brian Flores is coming from. There's only two black head coaches in the NFL right now out of 32 teams, which is more than suspicious. So I understand where Flores is coming from on that standpoint. I'm going to be transparent with you guys, though. I did want Brian Dable, but not because of his skin color. I just wanted an offensive-minded coach, and Brian Flores is a defensive-minded coach who had some offensive struggles in Miami. So him coming to the Giants wasn't as exciting for me as getting the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. But again, nothing to do with his skin color, and I think Brian Flores has every right to do what he's doing, and I hope the truth comes out, and I hope there's justice served. So if you disagree with that or have a problem with it, feel free to let me know in the comments. But that's just my opinion. I am happy with the Brian Dable hiring. But obviously Patrick Graham wasn't. And I can understand why Patrick Graham wasn't, because he also was hired to be the head coach. And I'm sure Patrick Graham, he hasn't come out and said it, but there could be a chance he feels like he was used for the Rooney Rule as well. So for anyone who doesn't know, again, just a little information. The Rooney Rule is a rule that was put in place, I don't know when, but it is to basically fight this racial injustice that's happening with head coaches in the NFL. And the rule had good intentions. It basically said every team has to interview, I think it is 2 minority head coaches when looking for a head coach. But what has become of that, and this is why I don't particularly like the Rooney Rule. I think it was rooted in good intention, but I don't think it's working. So what happens is a lot of black coaches and a lot of minority coaches believe that they are being hired being interviewed just to appease the rule. So for example, with the Giants case, the Giants interviewed Brian Flores, who is the minority ex-head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and Patrick Graham, the minority defensive coordinator of the Giants, who, by the way, again, one of the bright spots in the Giants. And then they interviewed Brian Daboll and a couple other people, and they hired Brian Daboll. And this happens over and over and over again, and so a lot of people are believing, and rightfully so, there's a lot of evidence towards it, that a lot of these minority coaches are only being interviewed to appease this rule. It's a really tough situation, and I think the Rooney Rule has its flaws, and we're seeing them. And there needs to be some reforming of how this rule is put into place. This may sound like a cop-out answer, but it's just above my pay grade. I'm not sure how to fix it, but it's not working. And the evidence shows only 2 out of the 32 head coaches are black, and I think 4 are minority. So obviously that's a tiny percentage of the coaches. But back to why Graham left. Graham was not happy with the Brian Flores case, and rightfully so. I can understand where Patrick Graham may have felt like he was used as well. And then also, the final piece is Patrick Graham didn't like when Brian Daboll did his intro press conference, and when Shane did his intro press conference, our new general manager and head coach, they both said that Patrick Graham was coming back if he did not get the Vikings job, which you got to let Graham speak for himself. I don't believe that was in a manipulative way. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I believe they just really wanted that continuity. The Giants didn't want to reset all 3 phases of the game, and they knew getting rid of Judge was going to reset the offense and the special teams, and I'm sure they were hoping to keep Patrick Graham and keep that defense together that was performing pretty well. And if the offense could just step up and actually play halfway decent, then the defense would be even better. Just not being on the field as much, getting rest, stuff like that. So I don't think Brian Daboll and Joe Shane were like, let's go out there and say he's coming back to force him into it. But I'm sure Graham wasn't happy about it, and rightfully so. He hadn't made a decision yet. He didn't say he was staying with the Giants, and he didn't say he was going to stay with the Giants if he didn't get the Vikings job. So with all those issues, Graham left to join another former Patriots assistant, Josh McDaniels, in Las Vegas. So, Patrick Graham is now gone, and he's not part of the Giants anymore. For me, this was extremely sad. I did not want to see him go. I loved Patrick Graham. I still love him. I hope he does well in Las Vegas. I think he is. He's a really smart guy, and I would have been happy if he was the head coach. But, yeah, those are the reasons he left. He left very quietly, and it was, not suspicious, but just strange. And so I just want to do a video talking about it. A year ago, Patrick Graham signed to stay with the Giants, and he said being the Giants' defensive coordinator was his dream job. I remember even reading that. I was leaving the gym at the gas station, and I was checking my phone, and I saw that, and I was so happy. I just didn't want to lose Graham. But, he's with the Raiders now. We have Don Martindale as our new defensive coordinator, and I hope all the best for him. We'll dig into him in a future episode, but I just wanted to let you guys know that was sort of the 3 reasons that Patrick Graham left the Giants. His best friend being fired, them being sued for racial hiring practices, and then basically them speaking for him before he was even able to speak for himself. Like I said, I hope all the best for him, and I hope with the lawsuit everything comes to light and justice is served. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'd really appreciate it. Again, let me know what you think of these short videos too. It's a work day for me, so I'm going to try to get this posted and then go enjoy my evening. But, the next episode will be coming out this Sunday, and we'll have a bunch more topics and maybe some updates on this as well. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your evening. Peace.